What key habits or study strategy helps you stay consistent and excel academically?
Active recall.
Speaking of love and relationship, do you think you manage the relation when you say that you had crushes and crushers? How were you able to manage? Do you give love a chance at some point? Then from your what do you want to meet about distinction students that you want to correct? Hi guys, welcome to Lifestyle and Facts with Cisco. On today's episode of Med School Unfiltered, today I have a guest. This is someone that has a lot of admiration from students. The teacher is a mentor. Today our topic for this podcast is Med School Unfiltered with the legend, Dr. Cisco. So Dr. Cisco, please, I would love you to introduce yourself to this honorable community.
Okay. So good afternoon, everyone. My name is David Ozoechi Namdi Francisco. So Cisco. That hence is Cisco. I am a medical doctor. Well, let's say 4 weeks old medical doctor. I am also a teacher. I'm a research writer and a few other things.
Welcome on the show. Welcome to Lifestyle and Fabric Cisco. We are very honored to have you as our guest today. I'll be asking you a few questions because medical school can be a lot of tasks. It can be very demanding, it can be emotionally draining, it can be financially draining.
Yeah.
And somehow you have managed to pull this whole thing. You have managed to like get it done with. I don't know, but I don't know. When I see you guys, I'm so motivated. First question is, how does it feel to be finally done with medical school and on your way to induction?
Well, medical school was a lot. It was a whole lot, and I think I feel free. But I know that my freedom is actually short-lasting. But then again, I think I feel
Free from lectures.
free from lectures, from slides.
I don't think
Free from discussions.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what does it feel like getting a distinction after all these years of hard work?
Getting a distinction, I think for me, it has always been like an icing on a cake. That's on the cake. So, knowing fully well that I'm done with medical school, it's the ones I got, that's total. It feels fulfilling. It feels just nice. It's just nice.
Nice. Like, you think if it's not about having a distinction, medical school will go like it's more like your what is tied to how yes, how well you do in school.
Yes.
How if a test result comes out,
Yeah.
your what like people like rate based on what your grade is. What do you have to say about that?
Well, first off, I don't think a distinction should be really tied to one's words, because I think throughout my stay in medical school, I've actually seen people who did not make any distinction at all. Like, it's quite surprising. But then again, when you have conversations with them, you realize that this is actually very, very. So, but then again, distinctions have this way of making people, just like you said, see you in a particular light. I remember the first one I ever had. That was physiology after Okofia. Funny enough, my favorite course then, with Okofia, was not physiology, it was actually anatomy. And then surprisingly, after Okofia passed, I had a distinction in physiology. And it was as if everybody was like, okay, you had a distinction in physiology, maybe he knows physiology. That wasn't who I was. Although eventually it's kind of as if it became who I was in a way. But then again, I don't think it should be that way. It shouldn't be that way.
So the next question says, if you could describe your entire med school journey in one word, what would it be and why?
Adventure.
Adventure. I like that.
From adventure. From the beginning, from 100 level, it was a very 100 level started with self-discovery. I had to discover myself. I had to know who I was. I had to understand what worked for me on 100 level. And I was very grateful for people that actually helped put me in that trajectory. 200 level was confusion. It was a lot. I think I didn't feel as confused as I was in 400 level as I did in 200 level. It was a hell house. It was a madhouse. 200 level came with stability. 400 level came with an overwhelming work. 500 level came with confidence. 600 level came with
You just need to get your picture.
And overall, it was
Adventurous, yes.
It's not about.
Wow, I like that. What key habits or study strategy helped you stay consistent and excel academically?
Active recall.
Active recall.
Active recall. I would like always active recall for me. Like I feel like it summarizes every single thing one wants to do. From you trying to teach people, because you cannot teach what you don't have in your head, and what you have in your head while you are teaching, you are trying to recall it, while also trying to put it in a way that makes the other person understand and still getting their questions answered. So that's active recall. Active recall could also come in, what I say, trying to remember it after a while, trying to write it down after a while, just in different forms. So active recall is just that strategy that's
So that means everything you read, you try to discuss it with someone, you try to...
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've seen people say that a lot. But what of people that don't like group discussion, they like to do their stuff on their own? Do you think it's kind of going to affect them at some point?
I guess that some people, that makes sense to me, it might be an intrinsic something. But then again, I feel like one thing that everybody needs to know, that you need to know in the first place, is that medical school is not really a journey that you're journeying on your own. It's not a journey that is traveled in isolation. Or you talk about adventure with people. It's an experience. So even those people that feel like they are isolated, I feel like there's still, there are still instances where that connection is needed. So even if the person doesn't really feel so well doesn't really do well with groups and everything, they don't have to be in a group, an overt group. It can be one-on-one with a friend. It can be anything. It doesn't have to be a very big set of thing, because some people can be introverts and they might feel like a group is not what I should be in. But your friend, it's not bad. Your friend, your very close friend, your neighbor, it's something.
So the next question says, have you ever struggled with imposter syndrome, and how did you manage it?
Okay, yes. Felt the instance when I felt that I wasn't sufficient, when I felt that the way I perceived myself was not commensurate with how people perceive me. But I think, I don't know if I would say that it's helped. It's probably helped, but then I came to understand that it was a normal part of every human being. It's something that I should not resist, but I should embrace. But embrace in a good way, because it's one thing to embrace the weakness and allow it to moralize you and also to depress you. But then there's another thing to embrace the weakness as just impossible in the positive way. Yes, I have, and I've come to see it as a normal part of life, normal part of person.
So have you ever also felt overhyped from family?
From everywhere.
From everywhere.
From the church. From everywhere. Yes, I have. I've actually felt, I've had periods like that. But in those periods, actually, I just laugh.
You just laugh?
I just laugh. Like, if you don't even know that I was laughing, that kind of situation. Like, I'm laughing now. So, yes.
So, do you ever feel like it really lived out your life as a medical student, or did the course come with certain limitations?
No, I would say I lived.
Did you have fun?
Yes.
Did you explore every other part of life that a teenager that entered school and became an adult?
Okay, well, entering school at first, I would say I lived, because in 100 level and 200 and 300 level, I wasn't really medical student. Like, I was a medical student, health science student.
Oh.
So my roommates were not medical students, my neighbors were not medical students. So my life was a bit different, like properly. I'm even surprised how I passed through Okofia like that. So living in Okofia, well, I had periods when I worked in school, when I paid teaching actually. I had periods when I taught in a school as a part-time teacher, a period when I taught in a tutorial center. That's beyond the Okofia tutorials and town tutorials. I had periods when I was, into logistics.
Into logistics.
I think that will summarize it. Then I had a period when I also started writing. And I'm still writing. I had a period when I was writing YouTube scripts. So I used to write stuff for people that had YouTube channels. I had I wrote for people that had blogs. I wrote for like a lot of things. I had a few when I had a discussion with things that organized outings and
Outings. Is it fun outing?
yeah, no, fun outings. We even had one after my MP. Although sadly I did not attend. Also had a few when I went for outreaches.
Okay.
Yes, paid outreaches.
It's very important.
Yes. So I would say to a decent amount I think I need.
So the next question says, how did you balance academics with friendship, social life, and the relationship?
Okay. One thing that helped me was my mentality. Entering the school, I always wanted to finish on a very good light, on a very good mood academic. I did not really want to settle for less. Yes, I didn't want to settle for less. So that's academic mentality kind of made it in such a way that I was always in my thing. Whatever I was doing, I still had goals. I remember when I came to town initially, when I came to town initially, that was when I started actively writing. Although I wrote to some extent during the COVID break. When I actively started writing, because the writing career was down. So just to assess. But then again, I told myself that I got skills to actually move. So I gave myself like the target. In every single post in town, I should not get less than an 8.
Wow.
Yes. And I did not know how I would do it.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know if it was possible. I didn't know if I could do it. But I was like, okay, let's stick with it. Now I finished 4th level and I had 3 years when I had in 9th.
Wow.
I had 3 years when I had something. I had 3 years when I had less than 8. So it happened. But then again, that mentality helped me. It really helped me a lot. So it's kind of like helped build my academic side. Then for the friendship side, I had friends. I had people that I was very close to. I had people that I really wanted to have a relationship that would transcend medical school, and I'm very grateful that that's something that I was able to achieve. As I said about that. For the relationship part of it, I don't know if I'll say I balanced that one. But I know I had crushes. I had people I was crushing on.
Wow.
Possibly those that were crushing on me, but not me.
For it does not like, I think you're going to have a lot of admiration from your junior.
Possibly.
What? Speaking of love and relationship, do you think you manage the relation? When you say that you had the crushes and crushers, how are you able to manage? Do you give love a chance at some point? Then from your junior colleagues, how did you manage to, from people that are way below you, let's say below you, like your juniors per se?
Okay, let me probably start with the crushes. I had crushes. So at different points in my life, I had people that I actually admired for different qualities. But I don't want to call names, but I would probably describe them in a way. So I think when one of the ones that's come from high, someone that I admired her for her delivery. Yeah, she was also fine. So that one is there, that one is constant. So she was fine. She looked aesthetically pleasant.
What?
But she also had a good chance. And she was kind of then I also liked her for she was nice to me with that. Although it didn't amount to anything. But
did you tell her?
No, I did not.
That's why it remained a crush.
It remained a crush. It remained a crush then. Another was someone that, well, we were close. We were quite close, like both physically and yeah, we're close actually. I did not tell that one. Yeah. Actually, crushes, I don't tell them.
Crushes have to remain crushes. The moment they know, you're crushed.
I really want that would be crushed. I don't know. I don't have to do this one. She was actually nice. She was also aesthetically pleasing. She had good facial, she had a good face back. Yeah, and stuff. Yeah, and she was so nice, but I never told her, just like I said before. Then for people that crushed on me, I'm guessing that there are people that did. But one thing that I don't know, this would probably be something else that made it such that I did not proceed forward with most people that were my junior colleagues. And that's the fact that I have this, or I think I still have. I had this perception that these are my juniors. But,
were you going to be crushing on your dates or what? Marriage, you're going to marry your junior.
Exactly. But I was like, okay, is this the right thing for this person? Obviously, it should not really be that way. Like, it should not completely be that way. I should think about the other person. Or then again, wrong decisions for the other person.
Yeah.
So, but that was my mentality. It was more.
Were you thinking that maybe they were crushing on you or maybe they were liking you for the wrong reasons?
That was also, that could have been.
Because, you know, there's this thing about, like I said, that you are admired by a lot of people.
Yes, it's
and sometimes, yes, people can misplace yes for you.
Yes, so it's possible.
So
Yes.
you need to go.
And I would not want to.
You don't want so much.
do something like that.
Fair enough. You advise students to be in a relationship?
Yes and no.
Yes and no. Let's hear.
Well, first off, I think relationships and whatnot, it's just like many things in medical school, it's all about who you are, all about your choice. Whether you're going to sit or you're not going to sit in relationships, I think the first thing we need to understand is you need to know what works for you. Relationships, if they are healthy, pursued in the right way, can actually be uplifting. They can help you. I know I've had classmates that their crush, no, not their crush, their girlfriends fed them during an empty period. I would have liked that actually. Yeah. So, but then that aside, beyond food, there are like things that this would help you with. And you could get to understand yourself too. You could get to understand people, get to understand. We love language. How I was. That's true relationship. So, but when you have this, so if you have someone that is as tough as you or that you can have discussions with, that's both academic and even non-academic. What's your favorite?
Not same line.
Okay.
Or you same field.
Then that's to some extent, that's even, would I say that is, I don't know if I'll say that's better, but that is even something that is even nice. Because when we talk about crushes, well, let me probably just say it now, I've had crushes that I'm not thinking this. So, yes. I had a crush, or I had someone, while I was still there, I had someone I was crushing in law school. Yeah, she was in law school. And I liked her because of her mind. Actually, it was actually nice having a discussion that wasn't
Next few years.
with someone. So we'll discuss law, and I realized that wow, there are actually a lot of things that I don't know. Like it was nice. So I don't think it has to be medicine. It doesn't have to be that. It's just like I said, what works for you. Then that is the aspect of relationship being good. But it could also be bad because I've had friends that did not do so well in a quiz and end because of heartbreak. It happens.
Don't break it happens. Heart. Oh, God will punish you.
It happens.
Don't do that.
It happens. so heartbreak can be that it is. So, but like I said, it depends on a person.
So it can be good, it can be bad. You look at yourself and you think, can you handle it? Is this person understanding? Is this person mature?
Yeah.
Is this person a good person? Does he have your interest at heart? If the person is not any of those things, or you just like can't handle it, please just start this out to the next question. What role do faith or spirituality play in keeping you grounded while in
In a lot of roles. A lot. I don't
You are
know.
not among the medical students that believe that there is no God.
No, there's no God in there.
It's just nature. We just need to learn this thing.
No. Even before I came into medical school, I was always someone that wanted to balance my academic life with my spiritual life. That's if I go beyond the personal spirituality, if I look at the outward spirituality. As a child, I was the president of Cisco. Whatever church organization, church association you can think about, I look at the Bible. So I was the president of lay readers. I was I think vice president of fire. I was the chief sacristan at some point. I was treasurer of altar boys, that's mass servers. I was president of religion. So That's the outward one.
Very
Yeah. So, like, actually, as of that time, people knew me then as someone that was more of a church boy than even an academic boy. Yeah. So I think it's when I entered this school, it's kind of like changed. So I was more like an academic compared to, like, outwardly more of an academic compared to person. But then it was like that. So entering school, I didn't really want to downplay that, because I know the role that plays for the whole up. So I didn't want to downplay that. I still maintain some of those associations that I had. I had other ones that I added. I joined the camps, that's the Federation of Catholic Medical and Dental Students. I joined CMD, that's Christian Medical and Dental Associations. Yeah, so I joined those associations. Then beyond that, I also had my own personal relationship, because I tried to keep that. Even though I would say that it was always perfect, I can't tell you that.
You can't have a perfect relationship.
So,
Who are you?
I can't feel it perfectly, but I know that it was helpful. And beyond that, even though I would not say that one should actually follow God because of what they would get out of God, but I'm sure that I've gained a lot out of God. Without stimulation or without triggering, I will tell this story. I remember my physio, no, not my physio, all my physio quizzes, which is the one I did that had business on the local flat. My first physio quiz, we had 4 or 5 questions. Now, the first question was a question that was difficult by virtue of the fact it was a theory exam. Actually, so it was difficult by virtue of the fact that we were asked a question that ideally wasn't a first semester question, but a first semester quiz. Now, the only way I was able to answer that question was the fact that I had read that, like, during the COVID, because that quiz came just after we resumed with COVID. So, but the funny thing was that I had read that stuff like 6 months ago. So I don't know what gave me confidence that I remembered what I was saying, but I was just right. In the end, the quiz results came out. It was very nice. Like, if that is not God, I don't know what is. So second question was actually ECG, and for some reason ECG was that it was that topic for me that was my favorite in Okofia. Like, it was my favorite physiology topic in Okofia. Basically, throughout my stay in medical school, cardiology has always been, or cardio-related stuff has always been something that I enjoy. I wasn't just good in, but I also enjoyed cardiac physiology, anatomy of the heart, cardiac pathology, pediatric cardiology, internal medicine cardiology, cardiothoracic surgery, like different aspects of cardiology have always intrigued me. So ECG was that, it was it in Okofia. So that was a question. So it was actually nice answering that question. Then another question too that was also there was gastric acid secretion, which just before I entered the hall, I had read in like 3 different sources. It was more like it's either that or nothing. If it doesn't come out, then I've wasted my time. But if it comes out, that's good. And coincidentally, it did come out. And imagine writing something with that kind of knowledge. So it was. I don't know if I will say that if that's not grace. If that's not grace, I don't think there is anything that I would call grace. So yeah, God has been very influential and meant that like
God factor. Take your God very seriously. All these people are saying, oh, God doesn't exist. You just need to study. Yeah, study, but don't forget the God factor. So the next thing I say is, was there ever a point when you almost gave up? And what stuff did you gain?
Well, I know that there are people that during that time probably had that defining moments where they felt like they should let it. Maybe due to a particular insufficiency or maybe just any other thing aside from them. But personally, I don't think it's ever got to that point. I don't think I ever, and I'm grateful to God for that. I don't think it ever got to that point where I felt like, there's always been, let's go forward.
Of course, for someone that's making good grades, I think the major reason why you see medical students like complaining of stress, most times the stress they talk about is their grades, then little bits of finance or maybe family issue, but majorly their grades.
And actually, in line with that, I know that there are people that after they finish medical school, they will probably be like, what is your advice for people that are coming? They'll be like, don't come. But no, I don't think I would tell anybody not to come. In fact, my younger brother even wants to follow in this direction, and I don't think I would want to discourage you. I don't think I would discourage anybody with things, because even personally for me, coming to medicine wasn't I know that there are people that maybe they wanted to do medicine because of passion, or because they wanted to care for the sick, or they wanted to raise the dead, or they wanted money. But then again, my coming to medicine wasn't any of those things. It was more of I wanted answers to certain questions. Yes, yeah, because I felt that if I had answers to those questions, I would be able to. Having answers to those questions would put me at a place where I can help. So it was more like the help was an end, and getting the answers to the questions was the means to an end, something like that. So I needed to follow the process and then get that end. It's true that I did not get answers to all of them, but I think to some extent,
back to the whole academic thing. So what's one myth about distinction students that you want to correct?
let me look at the distinction student and the people viewing him. Because for the people viewing a distinction student, one common myth is that as a distinction student, you know everything in that course. Like because you had a distinction in that course, you should know everything in that course. I don't think that was the case for me. It wasn't the case for me. I finished a couple of students already, and but only one at that time. But I did not know everything in physiology. Even now, I still don't know everything in physiology. So that's a myth that tends to exist.
Okay, when you had your decision, your first decision, it took a while before you had the second one, right? Or was it in the next one?
It was in the next one.
Okay, after that, do you have another one?
No, after that, I now know.
Do you have some kind of disappointment
Okay.
seeing your results and then like the decision was not forthcoming? So people will go and check, oh, you didn't have the decision. So you must be very kind of disappointed.
Okay, well, I think that's actually that's where this problem enters. That's where expectation enters, because the decision itself is like, I mean, well, and I had to understand that it should not be something that defined. Okay, so that was why I spoke initially about an icing in the cake. Like, I should be after the cake. If the icing comes, it doesn't come, then it's bad. Yeah, but from the beginning, the decision was like a dopamine rush. That's that thing where like you have one, you feel like you need to have another. And the reason why you want to have another is not just you, because I understand it can be he had before. Because for me then, this is what just happened to me. Okay, I left the coffee, only distinction student, distinction in physiology. Now entered town, I was like, okay, if he doesn't get in this end now, if that's coffee was my mistake. So he saw that kind of thing. So I just had to be on my toes. And even with the fact that in town I was really doing a lot of things. In town was when I started writing, when I was doing the logistics stuff. Like I think I did the most informed pursue politics, pursue the writing career, taught in a school, taught as a part-time teacher, taught in a tutorial center, taught as a private lesson teacher. Like the things I did in medical school, most of them were done in foreign level. So in that foreign level, I knew that I had to make a distinction besides that. Then I was also TOA, so I was going to a coffee. Like I don't want to even bring down. Basically going to a coffee like almost every time. Coffee was my second home. So I felt like I still had to get the distinction because I did not want to just use it. I eventually got just a good thing. But in 548 levels and 548 level especially, after 4 level passed, when I saw my results, actually I felt numb. I did not feel disappointed. I didn't feel happy. I felt numb. But I think that's a problem. I think that's a problem because passing itself in medical school is a huge thing. Like it's something to be celebrated. You get it. Passing without an issue, something to be celebrated. Because I've had people that did not pass medical school. Not maybe because they were not good, but because something happened. I've had people have different experiences. Okay, so passing should be a big deal. But in 500 level, after passing 500 level, I felt nothing. Like I felt no. I actually tried to make myself see that it wasn't a problem. And even though I think I overcame it, I feel like that numbness also came in 600 level. Seeing my results, I didn't celebrate it. Like it wasn't that thing where like people are shouting, or maybe that's my need. So I don't know. Because I'm just a person that really says he goes from, I don't know. So maybe that might have been contributing, but I did not show it. You get so, and it's something that I think as a decision student, one, anybody that has, it should not be something that defines you. It shouldn't at all, because you have had one, like that should be a big deal. In fact, my first physiology viva, that's the distinction viva. So I entered the viva hall and I met the man there, the examiner there. And when I was coming there, actually I didn't know I would get the distinction. Although I was very fit. So I had gone home. Unlike some people that would stay back, I had gone home. So going home, I even went to sleep. And I didn't have the phone. So many things. So I was called to go back to school. And while I was running to school, I was putting on my tie. I was still dressing while I was running to school. I think some of my classmates still have that experience in their head. So I entered the hall, I was restless, I was sweaty, I was disheveled, you get. But when I was talking with the man, he was like, the first question he asked me was, what was now? I told him 323. Then he told me that if I could get that score, and if I could get the scores that led me there, I could pass that viva, that distinction viva. And I don't know, at that moment, like, I felt at peace. And that viva was a conversation. Like, he would ask a question, I would be asking, like, at some point itself, we were laughing. Like, this kind of thing, because I had this problem then where when I discuss things with people, I say that you, like, I would say, for example, if you have this thing, if you do this thing. So the man did not like it. She was now like, I should not be saying you, because it's not you. But I kept on saying, so at some point, yes, say that, exactly. So at some point, I would say it and then I would laugh and then he would laugh. And so it was actually very nice. It was a nice experience. So that alone, I feel like even getting there, not even getting the distinction, because some people would get the distinction score and the viva, survivor will put them away. So even getting the score itself, passing a quiz is a big deal. Being the highest in the quiz is a big deal, because some people will be highest in the quiz, they won't have a decision in them. That is a big deal for me.
The next question says, so you are asked, what's your biggest regret and the lesson you learned in next year? What would that be?
Biggest regrets in medical school, I know I tried keeping relationships with people, and I think to some extent I did. But my regrets would be losing the ones that I would I say not having that same intensity as I had. Like, let me understand. My roommates in coffee again, that's Mano. Well, actually, we're roommates and we're quite close, very, very close, to the point that I went to his house. His house in Bible. That was my first time my Bible starts. And that was even where I read Lost Symbol. Yes. So, but after going to town, I don't know, like, even though that should not be that should not be an excuse of reason nonetheless. Going to town, it was difficult maintaining that relationship. Yes, so to some extent I would even, whenever I come for studies in coffee, I would stay in this place. I would ensure that we still meet, we still had gatherings, we still get together, even with my neighbors then. But I don't think I was able to maintain that fluidity that I had before. And it got worse after the finished school. But there's this thing that medicine does to you, where you enter Safari level and you realize that you're alone. Yeah, like everybody that you knew in Ogofia has breath and things. Yes. So him graduating it was difficult for us to maintain that conversation, like, such that now our conversations now are a bit more mature. I don't know, right? Official. Yes, they're serious. Yes, they're kind of like, I don't know, adults getting to us, and I don't think I like that.
Apart from medicine, I think life in general, because it gets to this point where you see that everybody's more like serious business.
Yeah, that's
yes, and more like medicine is even like going to say professional field. Somehow it helps to like narrow your path for you.
Yes.
But other departments sometimes it's not like that for them. So like he said, I have to look for what they really want to do. So I don't think something's really like that. What advice would you give to students and your juniors, people who are seeing the parts? Like, what can you advise them how to manage school and everything?
If I would advise anyone that is currently still in medical school, I would tell them to utilize their human resources. Yes. I think by far the greatest resource I've had in medical school is humans, like persons. People that God placed at strategic positions in my life. You look up here, for example, I had Christian, Dr. Aro Christian. So he was someone that really took me personally out of here. Like, it's something that I would wish anyone to have. Like, to have that mentor that's looking out for you. Like, I didn't have so many mentors, but I had. Yeah. And throughout my stay in medical school, I had other people. I had students. I had Dr. Techubu, almost. I had Dr. Eva. I had Dr. Gabriel. I had Dr. Joan. Yes. I had Dr. Fab, the one that helped fine tune my rights. I had Dr. Mezier. Like, I had a lot. I had a community of seniors and even classmates. I had the likes of all of them are doctors. So there's so doctors, Mikaria, Orabs, Timothy, Lucy, Zanda, Emmanuel, Amara, Stephanie, Oke, like Dasola, Nita. Right, I had a lot of people, like people that this was mentioned at my discussion people. So if I even go past my discussion people, I'll mention so many. So that resource was something that it was very valuable for me. So if I would advise anyone that's still in medical school, don't beat them. You don't beat them and don't have to do it alone. There's this thing about if you want to go fast, you're very long. If you want to go far, you go with people. The length I've gone to is not a function of myself. It's a function of myself and people's influence. Yeah. So that's something I'll advise. Because if you're looking for advice, you want to pass through a particular phase, there are people that have passed through that phase. Like with an instance now, Dr. Fab finished medical school and was writing while still in medical school. It inspired me. Finished medical school and I'm writing while in medical school. Dr. Mezier was, the best people I've ever seen. And having him as someone that I looked up to was something else. Dr. Gabriel was someone that I admired for his leadership skills. Like, he's someone that was able to manage his medical school life with his relationship with people. And I aimed to be that. So that was the mentor in that regard. Dr. John was someone that was very outgoing and someone that could easily get people to warm up to him, and I just admired him for that, and I just liked him. Aro Christian was my academic mentor. He was someone that would always try to push me, like, so like, what are you reading? Like, that kind of thing. Like, he was always grounding, things like the academic ground. Like, even when I had to go to teach, I had to go to do this, do that, do this, had to go to work, I still had to come back to the fact that I was a student, and that was him. You don't need to have so many mentors. You don't need to have so many people that you know. And among who I mentioned, there are still junior colleagues that I came down initially and my phone stopped. I had a junior colleague that she had not known me for up to like a week, and she offered me her laptop from my first class. It was one of those things that I didn't know that people like that existed. Yeah, it was crazy for me. Yeah, very, very crazy. So, and there are other people too in different aspects. There are people that have accommodated me, there are people that have fed me, there are people that have a lot of things. Yeah, so it's something that I think anybody should experience.
That's just
Both were from my instance.
your human resources very well. Don't do it alone. Maximize friendship.
Yes.
Once you run far,
Yes.
you have to breathe with the community. Once you run fast, then you can decide to do it alone.
Yes.
So the last question is, looking ahead, how do you plan to carry your passion and discipline into your medical career? Like you mentioned you like writing.
Yes.
So do you still plan to do some of those things?
Well, I think what I visualize for myself is it's not just a clinical doctor, but into research.
Oh,
Like I would really want to, even though I might not really pursue research as a freelance research writer, because that's what I am.
right.
Yeah. But I would still want dabble into research at some point. I would want to, because what brought me to medicine were questions. I still have some of them. Some of them have not been answered. Some of them have been answered. And I'm sure some people also come to medicine for questions. Just as I answered my questions, I want to answer so many other people's questions. Yeah, so, and to do that, I will need to actually research. So I want to push that research front, like anything now. I would also want to explore maybe something that has to do with how to operate management. Yeah. Then I also want to still keep my business. Yeah, but also do that and still get new ones. So that's the life.
Finally, we've come to the end of medical school Unfiltered with the legend, Dr. Cisco, who I'm so glad to have you on the show. I'm so glad. And I'm sure that a lot of students, a lot of junior colleagues, even senior colleagues that can relate to what you're saying.
Yes.
Yes, that can relate, obviously. That can relate to what you're saying. They will be so excited to like see someone representing, like speaking for a lot of people. And then for our junior colleagues, for my fellow junior colleagues, and I know that you will appreciate this video. And thank you for coming to Lifestyle Fast Chisel. It was a very nice session. And please make sure you click on the subscribe button. Subscribe to Lifestyle Fast with Chisel. See you on next episode of Medical School Unfiltered. See you next time. Bye.